I look good on camera, but here we go.
You look wonderful. So we'll start off easy. Can you state your name and the grade that you teach?
Okay, Susan Marty, 7th grade English.
All right, and you love 7th grade.
I love 7th grade. I have taught everything from high school to elementary to, yes.
You taught elementary?
I had a behavioral classroom for 2 years with kids that had behavioral and social, emotional, educational problems.
Wow.
Yes.
No wonder you can handle 7th grade.
There we go. Yeah. And I've taught 8th grade, yes.
Okay, all right. So how did you get into teaching? Were you inspired? Were you just loved English? Or?
You know, as a little kid, everybody in my neighborhood would play teacher.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be a teacher then. I wanted to be a nurse. But when I see a lot of blood and gore and everything, I faint easily. So
not quite.
No,
not quite
my mother said, probably not a good profession for you. Now, you know, you've always loved teaching. So, and that's what I did. I majored in physical education, and English was my minor.
Oh, okay. Where did you go to school?
I went to Eastern Kentucky University. And I thought I would be teaching PE forever, but then when my children were born, I stayed home with them. And I thought once I got back into education, I would be too old to be running up and down the basketball court.
I don't know. I think instead of Mr. Catalino, maybe, I remember having him, I think you could have definitely got us into that, like, jungle dodgeball game.
I could have done all that. And when I go down there to watch, those teachers aren't running back and forth,
exactly.
So what was I thinking? English had been my minor.
Yeah, and you rode that scooter for us before the final.
Oh, jeez, you remember that.
Yes, I do.
Yes. Oh, that's funny. Yeah,
you would have done just fine.
I think so, and but
all right, so
English is my passion.
Of course.
I do. I feel like I have something to pass along.
Yeah.
So.
And do you find that the fact that you love it so much, do your students pick up on that, do you think?
I hope so. I hope I have a good sense of humor and make it fun, make class fun.
I think you do.
You know, I try to come to school every day with a sense of humor and a sense of adventure because you have to.
Yeah. And you mentioned a few minutes ago that it was getting harder because students are lazy. What do you mean by that?
I think kids feel entitled, and it's kind of funny because they have so much at their fingertips that they can go to the computer, they could go online, they could look everything up, but they're not as curious as they were. And this is my 26th year of teaching, and kids aren't curious. They don't wonder as much as they used to, because they'll act very excited in class, and I'll say they'll want the answer from me. They'll ask a question about a topic, and I'll say, well, go home and look that up, or go home and ask your mother or father, or go home and read a book, or do something, and come back tomorrow and tell us what you found out. So they come back the next day, and I'm thinking they're going to be all excited, because I'm all excited, and they're like, oh, I couldn't be bothered. It's like, what? You're breaking my heart here.
Oh, because we used to do that.
Absolutely.
Like, sometimes teachers would say, if you want a couple extra points, like, go home and figure it out. Or it would take, 10 minutes of that next class where we wouldn't have to talk about class. We could talk about this instead.
Which goes both ways.
That's really unfortunate. They don't have that same excitement.
Sense of wonder and that drive to really find the answer. And it's so easy. It's at their fingertips.
Yeah, quick Google search.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I guess that does take away all the fun.
Yeah. So that's kind of makes me a little sad about this generation.
Yeah. Would you say that's one of the bigger challenges that you've had in the recent years? Or?
Yeah, the whole motivational issue. And to be quite honest, and I'm really kind of afraid to be quite honest, but parents are a big challenge because they want to do everything for their child. And they want their child to be successful, but they want it to be successful to the point where they want to be responsible for their child. And I think the kids feel that they are entitled and enabled by their parents, and that's a big problem.
And has that changed a lot? Were kids, when you first started, the parents weren't so much doing that?
Oh, absolutely. When I first started teaching, it used to be, the kids would struggle and the parents would say, what can we do to help? Not, let me do everything for them.
Right.
And it wasn't, what did that mean teacher do that got you upset so you don't want to do this?
Yeah.
And that's what it is now.
Do you have a lot of parents banging down your door asking why Jimmy's not doing well? Or?
Not so much that, because I try to communicate well with the parents and let them know, through the progress reports and through calls home and notes home.
So you do still send notes home?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you have to have good communication between parents and school. That's the key to a lot of things, to keep a lot of the problems at bay.
Yeah. So do you find a big turnout for like back to school night and for parents' nights and stuff?
We do, but I think that's partly due to the fact that this is a very popular school, and this is a very affluent community where parents tend to be a little more involved than they are in a lot of other schools.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah. All right.
Which is good. You know, you always want that interaction with the parents.
Mm-hmm. Do you send home good reports too? Like if a kid's done something particularly well lately?
I try to. Probably not as much as I should, gotta be really honest, yeah.
It's hard.
It is hard. I don't know why. I guess we tend to focus on the negative because that's what drains your energy as a
Yeah.
teacher sometimes. And you're right, though, that's really a good point, that, yeah, we should make more of a point. But at Gainesville, we do positive referrals, not just a negative referral, but you can do a positive referral anytime, and then every quarter we pick someone from each of our classes and write them up as a positive referral, and they go down and they call, you know, the admin calls home, and our PTO gives them a little snack and a little
that's
drink, and
nice.
they have a nice little certificate. So,
That's really cool.
yeah, it does put a different spin
Yeah.
on the word referral.
Yeah, it does, because that's all I can think. Even if I get like a doctor referral, I still think
Yeah,
I'm still
yeah.
doing something bad.
It's got that negative connotation.
Yeah.
But here we've kind of turned it around to make it a little more positive.
That's good. Cool. I
So
like
you're not
that.
shaking in your boots when you get called down to
In
the
the
office.
office every
Like,
time.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, what have I
Well,
done?
you got to think. Okay, is it that right time of the month again? Like.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's true too. Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. So I come to visit. I have been here once, but does anybody else ever come to visit you? Your old students, not
They
even just
have.
from my
They
year, but
pop in. Yeah, it's just almost every year I've got kids that come back.
yeah.
And the kids who, and you know, not only come to school, but I see them in the grocery store, and kids who probably gave me the hardest time are the ones that say, "Oh, I loved your class." It's like, what? Are you kidding me? They have a very short memory, I guess.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
But and kids who want to Facebook me and all of that, and I don't do it while they're still in school. But it is fun to stay in touch,
Yeah.
and reconnect and see, where have you gone from when I knew you as this little kid to where are you now? So
Yeah.
yes, and I love seeing them.
Must be
Don't always
interesting.
remember their name,
Oh.
but yeah, it's funny, Erin, because I could picture you so clear in my mind when I heard from you.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
I hope so.
I didn't try to forget you, like
Like maybe Hasib or somebody else in our class.
Oh gosh, no. Oh, don't bring up names. Yeah. It's funny because the longer you teach and the older you get, and you're very young, so this won't hit you yet, but I come back after Christmas and it's like, okay, what are their names again?
Oh, no.
So when you do see someone, especially someone I taught 20 years ago or 15 years ago, it's like, oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
What's your
Wow.
name? Tell me. Yeah.
That is going to be weird. I think
It
the first
is.
few months getting to know everybody's names, then having a long break.
Yeah.
Because I'm not used to long vacations like
You're
that.
young. You can do it. Yeah.
I like to think I'm decent, but I don't know, maybe we'll play some games and
There you
do you
go.
do that like the first week back, play a
Yes,
bunch of
Yeah,
icebreakers?
try to get them to, yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite one to do?
Oh, gosh, that's a tough one. It'd just be I don't know. I gotta be honest with you, I really can't even think of any off the top of my head right now, but I know, see, well, I'm old. What can I say? It's just different little games and different little things.
Yeah.
And, you just make sure when you call them, don't say, hey, you, or something. It's just try to call on their names, and it
Yeah.
helps to have a nice little seating chart.
It does. It does. Do you let them pick their seats for the most part, or do you still assign them somewhere?
I tend to more later on in the year, not at first. But as you get
See
to
how they
know
do.
them, you'll know who should be sitting next to somebody and who should not.
Right.
So, yeah, no, I put and just you just have to learn their names. And when you have 150 kids, you've got to have them in a place where you see them every day in the same seat.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It just
Do you ever
helps.
have students that'll have like they'll look similar and be sitting in the same place, or they have a similar
Yes,
names
and
in the
have-
different classes?
Absolutely. And have I called somebody with the wrong name? Yes, I have. But they're real quick to tell you that's not my name. Yeah.
Oh, good
Nothing
on it.
about
Yeah.
But, like I said, the more kids you have, when you have 30 kids in every class, and let's face it, 7th graders sometimes all look alike, they dress alike, they act alike,
Yeah.
it just happens.
They're all doing. Everybody's trying to be like everyone else.
That's right. As much as they want their own personality, they do want to fit in. And, it's important to them.
Yeah. So do you still plan out like lesson plans, or do you just have like a general gist of what you're gonna do that day
You
and
would
let the
think-
kids take it?
You would think after 26 years I could do the same thing over and over, but no, I spend all my weekends working on lesson plans.
Yeah?
Because, the curriculum changes, and what we read changes, novels and short stories and this type of thing. I mean, you have the same themes, the same things like this, but you do tend to want to, freshen things up.
Yeah. So what are you guys reading now?
My extended's reading To Kill a Mockingbird.
Really?
I know,
In
believe
7th
it or not.
grade?
Yes, I think it used to be in the 10th grade.
Yeah.
And this year we've got a whole new curriculum, and we have a whole new literature book. So it has trickled down from, I think, 10th grade
Wow, yeah.
to
I think-
7th grade. But it's extended. And can I say they're struggling a little bit? Yes, because it's a lot of vocabulary and a lot of very mature themes.
Sure,
But
yeah.
we're working our way through it. And the other kids, the regular kids, you don't put that in there.
I'll
are
edit that bit
reading
out.
Nothing But the Truth by Avi.
I don't think I've read that.
Yeah, well, it's good. It's a documentary novel that's
Okay.
really kind of fun, and it goes quickly.
Okay, interesting.
A little easier to read, and we'll be reading other books as the
Yeah.
year
I
progresses.
can remember we read The Pearl
Love
and The Giver.
that.
We struggled with The Pearl.
Yeah, and you had to do your theme. Remember, I had you do a lesson plan.
Yes.
So
That must have been the first lesson plan I ever had to
yeah, there
do.
you
Oh, that's
go.
so weird.
That was group time too.
Yeah.
And you will work with the group. You'll work with other people in your grade level.
Yeah.
Yes, and you read Diary of Anne Frank.
We did. That was a lot of fun.
Have
I
you
think
do-
about that section of time in our class a lot.
Yeah, that was fun. You all did your CDs and all of that. Remember?
It was so
Just
good.
had
We
fun.
had like little diaries and stuff. Oh, it was fun.
Yeah, and you had to. Yes, that's right. You were assigned someone that you had to write
Yeah.
a diary from their point of view.
Yeah. You can just I always think about the one particular kid who I'm sure you'll remember would put on the voice for Mrs. Van Dam.
Yes. And we would have Freaky Fridays where the boys would read the girls' parts
Yes,
and the
yes,
girls would
those
read
were
the
so
guy
much
part.
fun.
That was
Oh, I'm gonna have to
fun.
tweet him later and let him know.
I'll have to do that more. I'll have to do more of that.
That'd be fun. I think they could probably get into that pretty well.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that was always. It's just something random to do.
I know. Yeah.
It's just good. Oh, so clever.
Oh, well, gotta mix it up.
Yeah. Have you ever wanted to do anything else? You said you wanted to be a nurse, right? But that quickly faded.
That did. I would love to have been a lawyer.
A lawyer?
Yes. And it's funny, you would think I would say writer or poet
Maybe.
or something like that. But no, I would love to have gone into the law.
What about the law? Like, want to do small time cases, big defensive against
Oh, big
women?
defensive. You know me. I like
Oh,
to. Yeah, I like to talk. I like to be in control.
That's
And
interesting.
I like to argue things out.
Were you
or
in college when you were
debate.
thinking of doing that, or was that just?
No, that's years later.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I think back, why am I still teaching? No, I do. I love teaching. I'm passionate about it. And you have to be passionate. You gotta love what you do. I don't care what you do, whether it's teaching or whatever, but
Gotta
you've
love
got to love getting up and going there every day. And I have.
It's good. Where's your favorite place you've taught?
Gee, I should say Gainesville, shouldn't I? But, a lot plays into that. It's not just the kids, but it's the atmosphere of the school. I taught in Leominster, Massachusetts, and I absolutely loved that school district. There's something about Prince William County that's just huge, and you become just another teacher among hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of teachers in Prince William County. When I taught in Leominster, everyone knows who you are. Everyone knows your name, from the superintendent on down. And
That
it's
must be
just
nice.
when you're in a smaller system, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, like a big community.
Absolutely.
together.
And you get a certain reputation in the community, and you hope it's going to be a good one. And when I taught there, I had a very good reputation. When I came to Prince William County, I was at Marsteller for 2 years. And the first year I taught off a cart, and I tell you, it's very humbling to go from where the superintendent will call you
Yeah.
up and say, "Hi, Sue," versus "Hi, Mrs. Marnick," to teaching in a school where you are a nobody off a cart.
Oh wow, yeah.
So it was very eye-opening for me.
Yeah, that would be a big difference.
It was a big difference. Not in a bad way, but
No.
just, yeah, like I said, it's it's a little ding to your self-esteem, I guess. And it does ground you. I know my self-worth. I'm just someone who can be replaced.
No,
Yeah.
no. Gainesville's gonna take a hit when you leave.
Oh, bless your heart. Yeah.
They will. They will. They're gonna miss you a lot. So what's your opinion on the Common Core? We don't have it, but do you find it effective as a whole, or?
I'm not fond of it. Now, I haven't been exposed greatly to it because obviously Virginia isn't doing it. But I think teaching in lockstep to where we're almost going more towards teaching to the test. And I'd like to think I teach to life. I want you kids to be able to read and write and analyze and understand and be able to annotate something and pull something apart and debate. And when you teach Common Core, the good thing about it is, should you move from one state to another, you're not going to be behind as a student. But I want the autonomy of my own classroom and my own way of teaching. And yes, do we have a curriculum? Yeah, obviously. Do we have the SOL in Virginia? Yes. But I feel like I can be a little more flexible with my teaching, more so with that.
All right, than having to keep in step with
Yeah.
everyone.
Oh, absolutely, yes. And I'm not hearing good things about it. You're probably going to move. You know what's going to happen? You're going to get the sun in your eyes. You move over a little bit.
I can do that.
There you go.
Oh,
okay,
beautiful.
I want you to go blind in my classroom.
I would appreciate that.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, and this is easier too.
Yeah.
So what about No Child Left Behind when that was implemented? What was it?
All of a
Early
sudden, it
2000s?
was one test after another, after another, after another.
So there was a marked difference.
Yes, and in theory, it's a good thing. But if you know that by 2014, which was last year, every child was supposed to be 100% proficient in math and reading, that's just, it's a lofty goal that I don't think anyone ever could have attained. I don't care what kind of a teacher you are. I just don't
Yeah.
think it was practical.
It moves up a bunch of kids that aren't ready.
Absolutely. And we've gotten to the point where we don't retain kids when we don't get it because we're so focused on just pushing and making all these milestones. But I think sometimes some of these kids get lost in the shuffle, and that's what I didn't like about it.
Yeah. Have you had some students that seemed like they were lost and you'd have to adapt what you're doing to try to help them along?
Oh, absolutely. You always have to differentiate because, you've got unless these kids are in extended, you've got kids at this level and this level and this level and this level in class. And I'm the type of person, if you are at this level, I'm going to teach you at this level. I don't want you, I want to hold you down. I want you to be, for lack of a better term, I want you pulled up, sucked up to a higher level. And that's difficult when you've got, very high level thinkers and analyzers and whatever in class, and then you've got kids down here that are reading on the 3rd grade level in 7th grade. It makes it tough, very tough.
Yeah. I can't even imagine.
Well, you
getting
will
ready.
find out because it's always going to be that way because
Yeah.
we try not to track kids. You can't have all these kids that are in this level in one class and all these down here. You need some leaders, you need some role models, which is what's good about the blended classes, but it makes it difficult as a teacher
Yeah.
to differentiate every lesson. Can I say I do it? Every lesson? I do not. Maybe shame on me for not. But this is why you encourage these kids, and this is why you offer a help night, so kids
Help
can
night?
come. Help night. I'm here on certain nights from certain hours to help kids. I'm here in the morning at 7 o'clock to help kids.
That's great. That's above and beyond.
Gotta do it.
Gotta do
You
it.
have to do it.
It's fantastic. So then I guess what's the greatest thing a student's ever taught you? So you've taught us a whole bunch of fantastic things.
You never know what baggage kids are coming in with, and kids can be, for the most part, very compassionate and empathetic. And I think just to remind me that they're all uniquely individuals, and to look at them that way, and to appreciate them for who they are. Never back a child in a corner because you're going to get the worst of them. Always give them a way out, a way to save face.
That's interesting.
No, it doesn't kind of answer the question, but
No, but it gives me some good advice.
But what they've taught me, millions of things. I think I get just as much back that I was young once, and they kind of, I guess they're not teaching me, but they're reminding me that it's okay to be goofy if you're a 7th grader, because that's the way 7th graders are, and 8th graders. and 6th graders,
Hmm.
and 12th graders. So,
That's interesting. And I don't know, so is there ever like been sitting in a class and you got an answer you were not expecting from a particular student to something, like they just went completely out there in a great way? Which is if you were reading a book and maybe they were analyzing it and they just said something that was so...
actually, it's funny because kids, you never know, but you can look at their faces and tell when they've had, and remember when I taught you the word epiphany?
Mm-hmm.
So have you had an epiphany today? And they all do, and I think that's one of the greatest parts of teaching too, is when you see that light bulb go on and they've had that aha moment. So could I pinpoint one thing someone said over another? No, but it's just the fact that sometimes it's the kids who struggle the most that are very insightful, and that's what I love to bring out in them, or I love to cherish in them.
Gotcha. All right. I guess last question. Is there anything that you want to teach or wanted to, but you weren't really allowed to? You don't have to tell me what,
Oh,
but just was there? Like
gosh.
curriculum wouldn't let you, or wasn't a good idea given the environment you were teaching in, or...
Not here, but at one point in my career I taught health. But we couldn't teach anything about reproduction, birth control, nothing like that. So here I'm supposed to be teaching health, but I was very restricted in what these kids could do. We could talk about drugs, we could talk about alcohol, but that was really off limits, and this was at a high school level, and I'm thinking, these are the kids that really need to hear about this.
They're just not.
But they put the kibosh on it, and it was like, nope, we're not going there. So kind of the administration was kind of burying their heads in the sand. But other than that, I pretty much had free reign, and with some constraints. You've got to temper that with what can these kids handle, how mature are they, if you want to say a 7th and 8th grader's mature.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you find that To Kill a Mockingbird, is any of that a little too much for them, maybe?
Well, there's a level of prejudice, and discrimination, and a lot of use of the N-word that I'm not overly fond of. But it's all how you set the tone. You've got to lay the groundwork, and I did for about a week before we ever got into this. And we talked about mature themes, and we talked about the fact that some things, even though they're written in a book, and at the time, and it was 55 years ago, they weren't acceptable then, and they're still not acceptable now. So I said, keep an open mind. This is not how I feel. This is not how Prince William County feels. This is just a book that we want to expose you to. And they've taken it very well.
That's good. I wonder if it has anything to do with what's been in the news lately. Some of the...
Well, there is that nice tie-in to what's
Because
happened.
they're dropping it to such a younger level. I just
Yes.
wonder if that maybe had any effect on it.
Well, could have. And obviously it's pretty exciting that Harper Lee is going to be publishing another book. So
Yeah.
it was just a happenstance that's happened lately too. But yeah, hopefully this will open their eyes and make them a little more, I hate to use the word tolerance. I don't like tolerance. I like acceptance better. So it will make them be more accepting of people of whatever, faith, religion, color, nationality, ethnicity, any of that. Let's hope.
Well, I think that's all I have. So unless there's a story you'd like to share.
Oh gosh, just Erin, your class was so much fun. I still have some of your projects
No, you don't.
that I show, yeah, that I use as examples because I was very impressed with your class.
Oh, wow. Well, we were those extended 8th grade kids.
You were the best of the best. Come on.
We had to open up Gainesville Middle School at a very high level.
And you did, yeah. You had a lot on your shoulders, yeah.
We did.
We had a lot riding on that, and yes. And I have to commend all of you who came here with 1 year left in your education. That was a biggie for you not to follow some of your friends or stay at your former middle school. So you were pioneers. It was great.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. And it's very good to see you again.
It's good to see you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for talking to me.
My pleasure. Anytime. Anytime.